A group of tourists from Kansas walks through the bustling park. Sarah Williams, 22, visually impaired but radiant, holds her friend Jenny's arm as they explore. Jenny said, "Sarah, you should see this place. The trees are golden, and there are street performers everywhere." Sarah smiled and replied, "I can hear the music and feel the energy. That's enough for me." A charming voice interrupted them. Ryan Cooper, 28, handsome and charismatic, approached with a warm smile. Ryan said, "Excuse me, ladies. You seem lost. Need any help?" Jenny replied suspiciously, "We're fine, thank you." But Sarah turned toward his voice and said, "Actually, we're looking for the Shakespeare Garden." Ryan grinned and said, "Perfect timing. I was heading there myself. May I?" He offered his arm to Sarah, who hesitated before accepting. Ryan continued, "I'm Ryan, by the way. Ryan Cooper." Sarah replied, "Sarah Williams, and this is my friend Jenny." Ext. Shakespeare Garden, continuous. As they walked through the garden, Ryan described everything in vivid detail. Ryan said, "There's a fountain ahead with water dancing in the sunlight. The roses are blooming, red ones that smell like heaven." Sarah laughed and said, "You paint beautiful pictures with words." Ryan replied softly, "Only for beautiful people." Jenny whispered to Sarah, "We should go. Mom's waiting at the hotel." But Sarah was enchanted and said, "Just a few more minutes." Over the next week, Ryan showed Sarah around New York. They visited Times Square, rode the Staten Island ferry, and shared intimate moments in quiet cafes. At a rooftop restaurant, Ryan said, "Sarah, in just 1 week, you've changed my entire world." Sarah replied, "You've given me sight through your eyes, Ryan. I've never felt so alive." Ryan took her hands and said, "I have something to tell you. I'm not who you think I am." Before he could continue, Sarah placed her finger on his lips and said, "Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I love you." Ryan's face showed internal conflict as he said, "And I love you more than my own life." Sarah's mother, Margaret Williams, 50, stern but loving, confronted her daughter. Margaret said, "Sarah, we're leaving tomorrow. This Ryan fellow, you barely know him." Sarah replied defiantly, "I know enough, Mom. He makes me feel complete." Margaret shook her head and said, "You're too trusting, sweetheart. Some people aren't what they seem." Ryan met with his handler, Colonel James Mitchell, 45, military bearing. Mitchell said coldly, "The operation is tonight, Cooper. The weapons shipment arrives at midnight." Ryan hesitated and said, "Sir, I need more time. There are complications." Mitchell replied harshly, "Your personal feelings don't matter. You're a soldier first." Ryan said firmly, "What if I refuse?" Mitchell smiled grimly and said, "Then you know what happens to loose ends." Sarah waited anxiously as Ryan arrived, visibly shaken. Sarah said, "Ryan, you're trembling. What's wrong?" Ryan held her close and said, "Sarah, if something happens to me, remember that everything I felt for you was real." Sarah pulled back, confused, and said, "What are you talking about? You're scaring me." Ryan kissed her passionately and said, "I have to go, but I'll come back to you. I promise." Ryan and his team intercepted the weapons shipment. During the operation, an explosion occurred. Ryan was caught in the blast and presumed dead. Sarah, now married to David Thompson, 30, a kind local teacher, lived peacefully with their 6-year-old son, Michael. Sarah said to Michael, "Sweetheart, Dad's picking you up from school today." Michael replied, "Mom, why do you sometimes cry when you think no one's watching?" Sarah hugged him and said, "Sometimes grown-ups have memories that make them sad, but it doesn't mean they're not happy now." David entered, troubled. David said, "Sarah, there's been some unusual activity in town, strangers asking questions." Sarah tensed and said, "What kind of questions?" David replied, "About you, about Michael. I think we should be careful."